What is going on, everybody? Welcome to FPL Today Live. We are doing the Q&A live as we always do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I believe I've got the wrong screen on my thing, which is great. Which is fantastic. So, great start to the stream. I've not put the right screen as the background. Yay. You're seeing what I see, basically, when I start streaming. So if we sort this out quickly, yeah, there we go. I don't know why I set that up perfectly and the stream still messes up. I thought I was being clever, but clearly not. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining the stream as always. Thank you to the people that are here early. We've got Alan Arjadinovic, we've got Sammy Noor, we've got Florence Sandu, we've got Tiger Rage. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. We are back live. I know it's been a while. There's no excuses. I did want to do it on Monday and then just couldn't because went to a kid's birthday, got back late. Could have done it Tuesday, got back late from work. Wednesday, secret project, so I can't talk about it. Sorry guys, I can't talk about it. But Thursday, we're finally here. So make sure to check out the cards. There are 2 polls for you to check out. I believe the polls are about Deulofeu and Theo Walcott. Which one of the 2 would you pick? And do you know when you are using your free hit? Sorry, FIFA 11, I can say it's not a rude word, is it? Porno. Not 100% sure of why you've chosen that as a name, but you can explain in the chat. So yeah, thank you guys so much for streaming. 8 people watching. Let's get into some questions. We've got Alan Arjadinovic, always reliable for a question. Is Mkhitaryan a good option? Have you watched my videos, Alan? Or Ellen? How do you say Alan? Is it like the English way, but it's just got an E there, or do you pronounce the E? I don't know. Mkhitaryan could very well fit into that Arsenal team very, very nicely. However, his underlying stats weren't amazing for that game where he got 3 assists. However, what he did at Man United when he was starting near the beginning of the season, and what he could potentially do at Arsenal, is he could be very, very good at creating big chances, which are easier for the striker or the midfielder, whoever he's setting up to score. So that might be why he gets such great assist numbers. And if he can do that at Arsenal like he did at the beginning of the season for Man United, he could be a very good option. I just always warn against jumping on a player just after one good performance. I think you need to make sure there's a couple of good performances in there. You just heard something fall off the desk. Tried to save it without reacting too much, but never mind. If Arsenal play really well against Spurs, I think then you go and get Mkhitaryan if he's a big part of that. Who to transfer in instead of Lingard? Check out the poll. I think right now Deulofeu and Walcott are 2 of the best options to bring in as a cheap midfielder because they are playing in game week 31 no matter what happens in the FA Cup. I was going to say FPL Cup. No matter what happens in the FA Cup, Watford, Everton and some other sides. Let me just check the other sides so you know them. Liverpool are playing Watford no matter what in game week 31, and then Stoke are playing Everton no matter what in game week 31. So also consider Shaqiri. I suppose I've not really looked at Shaqiri because I've already got him in my side, but those teams will play in game week 31 no matter what happens in the cup. We will discuss that at some point in the stream. So I would be looking at Shaqiri, Walcott and Deulofeu to replace Lingard with. Because Man United likely to still be in the FA Cup, so potentially Lingard and others are going to have a blank game week. Sammy Noor, watch Barcelona versus Valencia, mate. Going to be one hell of a match. Can put out my question right now. I would love to watch it. I'm really interested to see how Coutinho does at Barcelona. Also, for the FIFA fans, he's got a ones to watch card now, and you can make a bit of profit on ones to watches. So that is something I'm definitely keeping an eye on, but can't do it right now. I'm streaming. But thank you for jumping into the chat anyway. Your viewership is still going to count towards my numbers, so it's much appreciated. Tiger Rage, how you doing? That's a dramatic countdown. Some of you may recognise it, some of you may not. Didn't transition from the countdown as smoothly as I'd liked, but never mind. George Butler in the chat. How you doing, George? Hope you're good. Iton AB, how you doing? Captain Aguero or Salah? I would go Salah. He seems the safest option. He's consistently getting points. Not that Aguero isn't a good option, not at all. I just feel like right now Salah pretty much, even on a bad game week, is getting an assist or a goal and then no bonus points. If I'd just captain Salah the entire season, I'd probably be higher ranked than I am right now. So right now, I would say Salah. Gordon Gilbody, now that's timing. Got myself times for Nelson Mandela's ready. I don't know what a Nelson Mandela is. I'm assuming it's some sort of drink though. Oh, by the way, wow, you can tell I haven't done this for a while. What is everyone drinking? The usual Pilsner is what I'm drinking because I stream, or I try to stream 2 times a week, and so I don't want to spend too much on the alcohol. One day, maybe, who knows, I'll be drinking like Courvoisier or what's a really expensive vodka, Grey Goose. Who knows? Straight from the bottle. Play in tonight, I'm drinking from the bottle. Who knows? Anyway, Thursday is a good day to stream from George. I do try and stream twice a week, but I've noticed what happens is if I try and stream when the big boys are streaming, that would be Fantasy Football Scout and Let's Talk FPL. What happens is I'm always going to lack the chance to bring in new people to watch a stream. So I may just move them back. Maybe focus on getting the videos up Monday and Tuesday. If I can stream more than twice, I can always stream more than twice. But maybe more of me doing streams closer to the end of the game week. Or the beginning of the next game week instead of the end of the game week just gone. Fire Tog, how you doing? Massive week for me last week. 83 points, up to second in the FPL. 83 points last week was massive, Fire Tog, because don't get me wrong, like, I didn't get a great score. If we look at my score, to put his score in perspective, my score last week was 50 points. That was 7 above the average. Saw me raise in ranking from around the 50,000 mark to 41,000. That's a 9,000 leap. As you can also see, I'm through to the FPL Cup next round. But despite the fact I only had 3 players really do anything, Salah, Sterling and Shaqiri and Pope. Sterling actually only got 6 because of the captain's armband. So Shaqiri, Salah and Pope were my only point scorers. And I still got through in the FPL Cup. I still rose in rankings. So 83 is a massive score in a game week like last week. Sometimes you can get massive scores, but the average is high, so you don't notice that big a jump. So well done, Firetog. JP43, how you doing? It is Alen. I'm presuming because Alen is how you're saying it, but I should try to start to say everyone's name correctly. I watched, I didn't have my phone because I got bad grade. I'm sorry to hear that, but grades are important. Otherwise you end up doing security work like I do. FIFA 11. I just feel weird saying porno on an FPL stream. FIFA 11 porno. It's not that bad a word. Get over it, JNO. Hold Danilo or ship for Mawson and me. I would probably go to Mawson or me purely because Man City probably will blank at some point. Also, I'm not sure Danilo is that nailed on. Although that was a good goal by Danilo, wasn't it? I think that was a quite impressive goal that Danilo scored over the weekend. So I like Danilo and I was hoping for big things, especially when I saw his price at the beginning of the season. But I'd probably move him on. Tiger Rage, you could get rid of Lingard for Richarlison and upgrade Duffy for Maguire. I've got Richarlison as well, so I can't get rid of Lingard from Richarlison. What I've noticed, and I think I can show this, I believe Richarlison has actually been substituted twice now, around the 60-minute mark, and that's been a while since he's really returned much, whereas Deulofeu looks like the favoured boy by the new manager. So that is why I'm thinking Deulofeu is a better option than Richarlison. As far as upgrading Duffy, I'm waiting to see what game weeks are blanks. which is why I'm also tempted to not use my transfer this game week, although I am worried about going through in the FPL Cup, because then I can react to who goes through in the FA Cup with 2 transfers. So potentially I'm going to hold my transfer and then react to what happens in the FA Cup. How do you vote on the poll? Ideally, you should be able to press the I in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and then the poll should be one of the 2 near the bottom. You just click the option you want to vote for. I think I'm going to vote as well. And I think you then have to refresh the stream to actually see the results, because I remember not being able to see them before. And anyway, let me close the eye, because I don't need that in my way. JP43, should I keep my transfer or do Lascelles to Fernandes? I would potentially keep it, like I said, just to answer Tiger Rage's question. Keep it, and then you've got 2 transfers to make after the FA Cup to react to which teams are going to be blanking. Because the way I see it is I've still got my free hit, and I plan on using my free hit in the double game week. No, in a blank game week. But game week 31 and 35 could be could have blanks. Also, game week 28 potentially a blank for Man City and Arsenal, but we still got to wait and see for that as well. But part of me does like the idea of using the free hit on the last day of the season and just trying to get a ridiculous score on the last day of the season. I mean, if I was still in the FPL Cup by that point, that would also be like something I could really use to good effect, potentially. So I've got plans for my free hit. I'm just not sure 100% how to use it. So I kind of feel like if I can get ready for game week 31 without using the free hit, then I could use it to my benefit later on in the season. Best defender under 5.4 million. Like I've said before, right now, if I was making a transfer right now, I would stick to players that are definitely playing in game week 31. So if we go to defenders and you want under 5.4 million, I really like Mawson at the moment. Swansea look a lot more organised with a new manager. I think Swansea's fixtures are pretty good as well. After Burnley, it's Brighton, West Ham, Huddersfield, Southampton. So that's not too bad a period for Mawson, although you would then probably want to transfer him out after that. You've got... He's the only one really like above Lascelles, but someone else wanted to transfer out Lascelles. Aki, I do like the looks of at 5 million. 3 good fixtures. Then you do have the Spurs fixture, but then it's another good 3 fixtures as well. Ward, if he is nailed on again, he was getting some... No, he's probably just come back from injury. But he was getting some very good attacking returns at the beginning of the season in that period there. And some decent returns there as well. So when he's back in the side, if he can find that form again, he could be a good shout. Ben Mee, very solid defender to add to your team as well. Doesn't get the goals that his underlying stats suggest, however. I mean, a Man United defender is always a decent shout. Smalling, is he actually playing though? Played in the last 4 games. Daniels is a potential option that could get some attacking returns for you. But I would be saying you don't need to spend that big on defenders unless you haven't already organised your 2 main defenders. My 2 main defenders are Jones and Otamendi. Ideally, I don't want to be changing them because that's a transfer I'm not keen on making. I feel like my transfer could be used better elsewhere. But if Jones keeps underperforming, because he has done recently with some poor FPL returns, I'm not saying his game performances are bad, although that own goal did suck. Although I benched him for that, so I'm all right there. Definitely looking at trying to not change my main 2 defenders. By the way, if you do want to support the stream in any way, the 24 people currently watching, there are various links in the description down below. And don't forget, you can sponsor the stream, which of course helps the stream out. And one more sponsor, and I can do personal personal emojis, which would be kind of cool. It would be something I could brag about on Twitter, because, you know, that's what people on social media do. We brag. Scrolled straight down to the bottom, of course. Love it when the chat just messes me up mid-flow. Okay. Yeah. Tiger Rage, that makes a lot more sense that you meant Walcott. For the false 9, how you doing, my friend? You good? Been on the late shifts at work. I was on the late shift on Tuesday as well, to be honest. So, glad to see you in here, though, man. Always good to see a familiar face. Plans, well, it's a familiar logo, but same thing, same thing. Plans for a free hit, I was thinking of Game Week 35. I'm thinking Game Week 35 or Game Week 38, if I can organise everything for Game Week 31. So, we'll see. If I don't have everything organised by Game Week 31, or something really strange happens to Game Week 31, then I might use it then. False 9 sitting on 163k ranking right now. Got 42 in the past game week. Salah got 15, but other than Shaw, clean sheet from the bench, no one else got more than 3 points. Like I said, just going over my team, I literally had 3 players turn up, but thank God they did. Thomas McCarthy and Ayush Falur are back in the chat. How you doing, my friends? Firetalk, Black Coffee, still at work. I wish I could watch streams at work. I don't even get a decent internet signal in my office. Rohan Sharma, you good, my friend? Good to see you in the chat. I don't think I've seen you around for a while. Thank you so much for the support. Tiger Raid, aren't they? B, Ben, Me, Bauer, and even Smalling. I tell you what, Bauer. Whoa. Ayush Falur, thank you so much for donating to the flock. Can we get some hearts in the chat for Ayush Falur? Thank you so much for the support, my friend. What dollars, what money sign was that? I don't know what that is. That is a cool money sign though. But thank you so much, Ayush, for the support and for coming back to the chat. Guess who's back? I should play like Eminem for that. For your entrance now. Every time you come into the chat, see if I can play Eminem. Always catches me off guard when I get a super chat. So thank you guys. So thank you, Ayush Falur, so much for that. You're making me blush. You're making me blush, man. I need a drink. The false 9, planning Charlie Daniels in for Cabaselli. I like that look. Should I look at replacing Son for Walcott or maybe an Arsenal player, Ramsey or Mickey? I'd wait for the Spurs game and I'd wait to see if they're blanking in Game Week 28. If they're blanking in Game Week 28, it isn't the time to bring in an Arsenal player. However, Ramsey, Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang, if they can perform like they did against Everton regularly, you need to be bringing those players in. So definitely be ready to pull that trigger. Definitely have a plan to bring them in if the performances keep on going. I should really know that. Is that Cockney rhyming slang, Gordon Gilbody? Because if it is, I'm appalled at myself. Thomas McCarthy reminding everyone to also, if you want to support the stream, like and share. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you so much. And I think, did I just get another super chat? It looks like Rohan Sharma has just it's not come up with the alert, but I can see it in basically my little screen here has what's happening live, and I'm pretty sure he's just donated. There we go, it's finally popped up. Thank you so much, Rohan Sharma. This is 2 super chats in one stream. Like, more hearts in the chat, please. More hearts in the chat for the boys supporting the stream. Thank you so much, Rohan. I mean, what a way to come back. So, much, much appreciated. Again, completely off my point. So, whoever's question I was answering, I'm very, very sorry. I think I was talking about Arsenal. If Arsenal perform against Spurs and then they're not blanking, it is Man City next. But then, after Man City, I'm pretty sure we've got a decent fixture list for Arsenal. So let me just make sure I'm not just talking out of my backside. Let's make sure the fixtures are good after that. Yeah, after that, look at that. Apart from Man United, that run of fixtures there, and double game weeks coming as well. Imagine Aubameyang like going wild in a double game week. So that could definitely be a good look. Is Alonso fit for game week 27? Let's have a check in the injuries. Game week 27, I'm a muscular injury, 50%. I mean, when it says 50%, that's always, I wouldn't risk it. The problem with Alonso is his price. If you take him out and then you want to bring him back in, that's going to be difficult. So I would make sure to have a game plan if that is your move. Or just see if you can bench him for 1 game week, because I'm assuming if he's 50%, that means he's likely to be able to rest for the FA Cup fixtures and then play in game week 28. So it's only 1 game where he might not be playing, Dinesh L. So thank you so much for the question, and thank you for joining the chat. I don't think I said that. Will Jones play this week as well? I've not seen any news press conference wise. Let's double check he's not got any injuries. 75%, he's apparently got an illness. 75%, I'd always take the risk. It means there's a good chance he could appear, but keep an eye on it. I'm not going to transfer him out just for an illness though. So, don't know for definite, but I wouldn't be getting rid of Jones or Alonso if I had them. What are my thoughts on Aubameyang? Aubameyang could be a fantastic striker in the Premier League, Rohan Sharma. I think he's the type of player that could go absolutely nuts, could match and rival the likes of Aguero and Kane. I like him more than I like, say, the transfers of Morata and Lacazette just right off the bat. If Aubameyang had joined at the beginning of the season at the same time as the other two new boys, I would probably have straight away considered Aubameyang over those two. Bit like Salah and Ibrahimovic. I generally don't go for new players to the league, but every now and again there's a player that I'm excited about. So hopefully I'm right. My gut feeling's right. I think Aubameyang could do really, really well at Arsenal. And he's joining a side which has Mkhitaryan in it, who he's played with before, and Özil, who was great at assists and through balls, and I think has been crying out for a striker that like literally hugs the back line and makes the runs behind. So it could be amazing. I just want to see it one more time before I start pulling the trigger on Arsenal transfers. Ayush Valur says Jones is a doubt who's dropped to poor form. True, but I think that's the problem I have with Mourinho. He seems to not be able to build someone back up when they start to have a bit of a dip in form. So yes, Jones is worrying me slightly, but I do still have my wild card to use at some point, and I will wait and see on the Jones situation. Mkhitaryan 2, I have Özil. Should I switch to Mickey? I would probably switch to Mickey if Arsenal do well against Spurs and Mkhitaryan stars again. Because I don't think you can overestimate an understanding between a creative player like Mkhitaryan and a striker like Aubameyang. That could, of course, build with Özil and Aubameyang, but it could take time. So, definitely like the pairing there at Arsenal. Apparently, Ishvira says Delph is injured, so Danilo might play again. We've got some YouTube royalty in the chat. Some hearts in the chat for Nimfria joining the stream. Should I keep Ayew or sell for Wilson? If you're talking about Jordan Ayew, I'm assuming you are, and not Andre, who has joined his brother at Swansea now. I would say Wilson is my favourite option, but I don't see much wrong with having Jordan Ayew because Swansea's fixtures are good. I believe they have the most favourable run of games for until game week 31ish time. Likely to play in game week 31, I think, because I think it relies on Southampton, what they do in the FA Cup. Let me just double check that and not make a fool of myself. But if I can find it. So we've got Southampton, Swansea is the fixture. If Swansea beat, I think that's Sheffield Wednesday. Or if Southampton beat West Brom. So actually, either of those could stop that fixture happening in game week 31. So up till game week 30, though, they do have very good fixtures. I think better than Bournemouth. Bournemouth have a good 3 fixtures. If memory serves me correctly, they've got Huddersfield, Newcastle, Leicester. So maybe after the Newcastle game, you could switch to Ayew. Because then if you switched on the Leicester game, Swansea have West Ham, Huddersfield, Southampton. If game week 31 is still in play for them. So I personally would keep Wilson for now, because I just feel like he's got a better team behind him as far as creative attacking output. Gordon Gilbody had a poo game week 26. Defence was Laporte, Alonso, Jones. Unfortunately, sometimes, no matter how good your defence is, no matter how good they usually do, yeah, sometimes your defence just doesn't do that well. Game week 28 can be a blank-ish because, and let me explain myself, we have Arsenal versus Man City was moved because of Man City being in the Carabao Cup in game week 28 to the Thursday. Now, what happens is if Wigan manage to take Man City on, I think they're playing on the 19th, to a second, to a replay, an FA Cup replay, that takes precedent over a Premier League fixture, because they need to get that game done so that Man City or Wigan can play the next opponent. So there can still be a blank Arsenal-Man City in game week 28 if Wigan do manage to draw with Man City. Now, of course, if Wigan beat Man City or Man City beat Wigan, no blank in game week 28. But I have 2 Man City players, which again is another reason why I may hold my transfer. Although, strictly speaking, I will have the places on the bench if I'm happy with my other players. But it might be nice to be able to react to that with plenty of transfers. So it can be a blank, but it's a very mini blank. It's literally 2 teams won't play. There'll still be 9 fixtures. Michael Foley in the chat. How you doing, Michael? I hope you're good. Should I keep Jones? I would keep Jones for now. There is the potential that he was dropped because of form, but he's also ill. So I would wait and see if he comes back into the first team. There's 2-week break between game weeks 27 and 28. Probably better to cool down on transfers. Again, also, when there's that bigger break between game weeks, it is good to have 2 transfers, because sometimes players will just randomly get injured. They might get injured in the FA Cup. They might get injured just in training. And then you've got time to react and you've got 2 transfers. So I am tempted to keep my transfer for next game week. Champions League is back next week as well. Means rotation, means more chances for injury. So good point, Ayush. Gordon Gilbody, is your PC overheating or is someone hoovering? Now, unfortunately, my PC is loud. If I unplug it, it's less loud. But if I unplug it, it also means that literally the power runs out really quickly, because I'm asking it to do a lot. My microphone is very good as well, which doesn't help. It picks up random noise. In my videos that I can edit, I actually do work on the audio to kind of get rid of that noise. So apologies, Gordon, if the PC was loud. I've still got to figure out my setup and try and get my microphone as far away from my laptop as possible. Jack Nash, I've got Mkhitaryan to replace Son. Do you think I made a mistake? I don't think you've made a mistake. I think you just maybe have made a move a game week too early. I personally think Mkhitaryan could do very, very well. I just like to see a couple of games before I make a decision on a player instead of just the one, because I always bring it back to Pedro. When Pedro went to Chelsea, his first game, if you brought him in straight away, he came in and scored 2 goals in the first game he played for Chelsea. And everyone rushed to bring him in, myself included, because I liked Pedro personally. I thought he was a very attacking player that could do well at Chelsea. And then he didn't do anything for a couple of game weeks after that. Everyone started transferring him out, and then he started to perform again. And whilst Pedro isn't a bad player to have in your team, I wouldn't say he's a standout option since he has moved to Chelsea. So I would potentially say you've made it 1 game week too early, but it could still work for you. Thomas McCarthy, 2 bad game weeks back to back. Sorry to hear that, my friend. I mean, it's now getting to the point of the season where you can take risks to try and boost that ranking. So try and look for some differentials. Plan ahead, because the casual players won't plan for Game Week 31, Game Week 35. the double game weeks as well. So you could really pull back some big numbers. I've had some big jumps in rank from like game week 28 onwards before. Captain for this week, at the moment I am captaining Mohamed Salah, purely because I just think right now for consistency he is one of the best options, and I would have been so much better if I just stuck with him for most of the season. I do like Kane in London derbies because he can do really well, but then again he can be very quiet. Aguero, if you have him, is a very good shout. He can always do very, very well. So I'd say right now Aguero and Salah are probably the two that I'd really be looking at if I had Aguero, of course. I don't have him, but I have Sterling. I'm not sure I'm going to be captaining Sterling again, but when I look at Leicester, I don't think strong defence. I do think of a side that can challenge Man City randomly on their day, but not a strong defence. Thomas McCarthy drinking home brew. There we got the super chat from Ayush. Been a follower since ages now. Love your content. Thank you so much for that. Don't worry, Ayush. I've been seeing you since I started YouTube. Ever since I started JNO Certified. I believe this was... Yeah, it was JNO Certified this was called when I started. So thank you so much for all your support. And then we got we didn't get enough hearts. I do like the fact there were hearts there, but we should have got more hearts. Apadu Varesh letting me know it was Indian currency. I think that's just such a cooler... I think the pound sign just is a bit basic, basically. I like the dollar sign, but I think I've been like brainwashed to like the dollar sign by like rappers and advertising and all sorts. But I liked that design. That was nice. I liked seeing that pop on my screen. Again, I like any super chat that pops up onto my screen. So, Thomas McCarthy, if you're starting to not care so much about your team, that is when you can really just go ham with your transfers. Try something crazy, because it could just really work. You could like literally... Is there a transfer in that hasn't appeared yet in a team? You could maybe risk bringing them in. I just can't think of anyone off the top of my head. But there are options there that probably are differentials. And if you got it right, you could see a massive jump in your ranking. Indian rupees just makes me think of Vic with his diss track to Deji. Shows how much YouTube I watch. I watch way too much, by the way. Did anyone watch KSI versus Joe Weller? Just interested if anyone watched it. Have you seen Stevens' Southampton fixture from Game Week 28? He is a must-have. To be honest, Stevens, as long as... Again, this is because I have a job and can't follow the football as much as I would like. But I've seen him pop up so many times when I've been watching the games. Is he nailed on now? How long has he been nailed on for? He's been nailed on for ages. And the fixtures after Liverpool look pretty decent. There's a tough patch there. And then the last game isn't great. But that's a decent 28 to Game Week 32. The 4.5 million isn't bad. A lot of people are looking for a 4.5 million defender. So you've definitely come up with an option that people could consider. Should I stay with Walker if that's Kyle Walker? I would potentially consider... I don't know. He could do really, really well, but I just think there's safer options than Kyle Walker right now, Michael. But thank you for the question and for joining the chat. Yeah, sorry, Rohan Sharma. For some reason, my OBS didn't notify me, but I did see it in the corner on the chat. So thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Much appreciated. Yush Valur, what's the internship? I'd be interested to know what the internship is. And I know you've told me you wanted to do it for ages, so thank you so much, my man. Rohan Sharma, question: Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang can be, like I've already said it, and I'll say it for people that may have just joined the stream. There's potential there for that to be explosive, and the earlier you can get on it, if it happens against Spurs, because I think Spurs would be a good litmus test for them. If they do the job against Spurs, then I think it's worth taking the risk as long as there's no blanks coming soon. Going with Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan, because they could just run riot. The only thing I would say is Bundesliga, Premier League, different leagues. I actually am a big fan of the Bundesliga. If I'd have to rate leagues as like what I'd watch outside of the Premier League, if it's on, I actually like German football. Probably more than La Liga. I know Bayern can dominate. I feel like German football hasn't moved too far away from grassroots. I say this being a fan of the Premier League, which has moved miles away from grassroots. But when I hear the prices that Germans have to pay for a season ticket compared to the prices we have to pay here in England if we're wanting to watch the Premier League, I'm just like, that's probably one of the big factors. I do like the Dutch league as well, but that's mainly because of my Football Manager time. Fakari Mohamed, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you're good. Jatin Mulchandi, captain suggestions. Salah and Aguero are the ones I really like the look of. As far as popularity, again, Salah and Aguero are going to be the most popular captain choices by the looks of it. Harry Kane will always be up there and abouts. Then I'd say you're starting to look at like not many people will captain outside of those three. So if you want a really big differential, Hazard could be a great differential. He can just turn up randomly in a game, and as far as I'm aware, their next fixture is very favourable. It's West Brom at home, so they could run riot. Other than Hazard, Sanchez, Man United, who are they playing? Got Man United versus Newcastle, so Sanchez could do a good job there. Of course, you've got anyone from Man City side, because who knows who's going to score the most from the Man City side. So Firmino could do well, has also been pretty decent. So if you're looking to just pick one of the favoured two, it's going to be Aguero or Salah. Apadou Varesh says Willian is the punt. What I would say about Willian is I do worry about his game time. Not because I don't think he's a good player. I think if Willian was nailed on, then... In fact, I think if the side was more built around Willian and Pedro, I think Willian would benefit a lot. But I think when you've got a player like Hazard, you want to get the best out of Hazard, because he could just beat teams by himself sometimes. So the reason I don't like Willian is because he can just sometimes just disappear in a game, and he can sometimes just be dropped to the bench when he doesn't really deserve to be dropped to the bench. Yish Falur, I will try and find out. I don't think I can find out right now. Actually, I might be able to find out right now, but I don't want to like go off stream topic too much. So I'll try and do it while still talking about something. Aubameyang as captain this week, what do you think? I think it's risky, but what I do think is Spurs do play a high defensive line, which may play into Aubameyang's hands. I'd like to think Pochettino and Spurs are clever enough to realise that would play into his hands, though, and counter that somehow. Maybe with Lloris playing sweeper keeper or whatever, but it would be a gamble, but I can see it being a gamble that would really work. I'm not about gambling unless I need to boost my ranking. FPL Red Eagle, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you in the chat. Best goalkeeper on bench. To be honest, if you're sure you're going to be benching him, it doesn't really matter. What I do like the look of right now is Fabianski, because he is likely to be playing in Game Week 31, if memory serves me correctly. And he does seem to be very good at getting save points. Pickford is probably a bit expensive for bench. In fact, Fabianski's probably risen quite a bit now, so he's probably expensive for the bench as well. Palace, their keeper, is he still quite cheap? Not sure who the Palace keeper is, but I don't like Palace keeper because I don't think they're going to keep that many clean sheets. let's just stop speculating. Let's actually have a look. So, the fact that Fabianski is still 4.6, I'd say if you've got enough for a 4.5, 4.6 Fabianski, because his fixtures are good. Very good. And then maybe you need to be making sure he doesn't play in that period. But you've got another keeper to play in that period. If you can get someone to just have a decent 2 game weeks there, that would probably be my shout, Fabianski. In fact, none of them sound better to me. I mean, I don't know if Hennessy's actually... He's started the majority. But I think their fixture list takes... Yeah, that period is very, very difficult. So I'd say Fabianski. Why am I drinking this beer so slowly? Fakri Mohamed. I have De Gea, Otamendi, Alonso, me, Kenny, Gomez, Sterling, Salah, Martial, Milo Vejovic. You can let me know how I did with that. Carroll, I'm presuming that's Tom Carroll, Crouch, Aguero, Firmino. 1 free transfer. I'll change Martial to Walcott and Aguero to Kane for game week 28. Is that good? I mean, I think Harry Kane's fixtures get better, don't they, after from game week 28 onwards. Let me just check. Yeah, that's a decent 4 fixtures there. So I would say bringing Kane back in could work. I personally do prefer Kane to Aguero, so I do like that as a move. I do also like Walcott. The reason I like Walcott is because I remember him at least twice out of the last 3 seasons having good ends to the season. That could potentially be people's legs are getting more tired and Walcott's been resting on the bench and then he just uses his pace. I also think now that he's at a club like Everton, he could become so much more influential because they have some players that can find him with passes and he's not going to have that rotation problem. So I do like those. Those are good moves in my opinion. Coleman, should we put him in our teams? I would always be wary, Michael, of putting someone into a team after an injury like he had. Because sometimes players just don't come back the same. Touch wood. He is the same player that before he got injured, but it can happen that when you have an injury that bad, you just don't play the same ever again. I really hope that isn't the case. I really hope they do actually... He does actually come back the player he was, because 1, he was a great FPL asset, but 2, I just wouldn't want to see that happen to anyone anyway. I went Jordan Ayew the other week for DCL. Pleased I didn't go to J. Rodriguez after today's developments. Charged with racially abusing Bong the other week. Well, the other problem with J. Rodriguez is they now have Sturridge and Rondon. So, yeah, definitely a good move that you didn't go for J. Rodriguez. Jones to Smalling could be an option. It could be if Smalling's going to be the one playing. What sports shirt am I wearing? Okay, this is actually a rugby top. So, nothing to do with football at all. But it is Six Nations time. It is the England rugby top. You see the rose? So, yeah. Six Nations. Hopefully we can do it again. 3rd year in a row. And then, of course, there is the Rugby World Cup as well. Not that I do anything fantasy rugby related, because I don't know... I know enough about the game to enjoy it, but I don't watch rugby regularly enough to know anything about the players. How's the draft leagues going? I've only just remembered they even exist. Here we go, there's draft. Game week 26 points, 21. FPL Today League 1, I'm 12th. Wow. So I haven't looked at this in ages. I may spend some time looking at this. Not now, because that's not what you guys are here for. Am I doing better in 33 points? That's not bad. 13th. 7th. So I'm not doing too bad in this one. And 15th. So I'm doing pretty bad no matter what one I'm in. Would be interesting to see if any of you guys are still around. That FPL Tom. See, some of these names could be people that are still around in the chat. So if your team is still in a draft league and you're seeing your name right now, thank you. There's FC Werewolf 01, third. That's pretty good, Daraj. I'm sure some of these people are still in the chat. I'm not seeing them straight away, and I don't want to spend too long on here. I do like the idea of the draft. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like it's better if you've got a couple of people playing it. I think the problem was I did too many people. Hopefully next season, if the draft is still a thing, because I'm not going to lie, I personally think it's not done as well as the FPL probably wanted it to. If it is still around, I would love to, and it was the plan last year, do a YouTubers draft and see who we could get in to do it. Because then the numbers wouldn't be too high, where after 2 rounds all the decent players are gone. The false 9 can't decide between Salah and Aguero for captain. I would say Salah. If you're asking me, I would say Salah purely because he's been so consistent and he's become that member of the team that if they don't play him, it's almost a bit worrying for them. He's become that important to Liverpool and he's involved in goals a lot. So I would probably go Salah. That would be where my gut feeling would go. Yush Fleur going through the journey of J&O on YouTube. Started off J&O certified. If you remember me doing Tough Enough videos as well as America's Best Dance Crew videos, then you've been around from the beginning. You're an OG. Then it went to J&O United when everyone decided it was going to be a football channel. I asked all the subscribers. And then we did FIFA as well as Fantasy Premier League, of course. And we did Football Manager, of course. Don't know how I forgot that. J&O was actually only ever the other channel, and it's still there. Still planning to do content. I did a video about the KSI Joe Weller fight, so that is still kind of there. And then FPL Today, because I thought, you know what? This is an FPL channel now, so brand it as such. Aguero I had, then got Aubameyang, my friend saying I'm mad. Aguero to Aubameyang, I would probably have not taken that risk. Still think it could really, really work for you. Pop Evra in. I'm surprised Evra got a club so quickly. Did anyone see what he did to get kicked out of Marseille? That was a crazy kick. To a fan, like... And what worries me is we've gone for a player like that, like West Ham. Do we need Evra? We've got Cresswell. Don't get me wrong, I think Evra's a quality player. Even now, I think he still has something to offer. But just when you go for players like that, it kind of makes you look a bit desperate for players. Chaos and FIFA 11 Porno. Watch the KSI Weller fight. My opinion is either Weller didn't put in as much work or Weller isn't a I'm not even saying KSI is a natural boxer. I'd have to see him fight a boxer of some sort of level to know if he was a natural. But he's got more of an aptitude for it. If their training was the same, if we assume it was equal, he's got a lot more aptitude for boxing than Joe Weller does. Joe Weller, I'm assuming, trained at least a little bit for his boxing match with Malfoy or Theo. So, yeah, just... I did think it was a good event. I think it was actually well presented. I think a lot of the fights you could see a clear difference in who had done the training and who hadn't. And I think potentially it could have been a lot better if they got different people involved. As far as the pools, Jake and Logan, I personally think they just either need to say yes or no and stop being idiots. Don't like either of them anymore. To be honest, I don't think I ever liked them anyway, but I really don't like them probably since the FaZe BLANKS thing with Jake Paul, and then from there they've just both gone really downhill. Anyway, back to FPL. Item AB, which teams do you think will be the top 4 this season? I mean, well, I'm assuming I'm allowed to look at the actual league table, because you're asking. Tables, there we go. So, I think Man City are going to win. I mean, when you're 13 points ahead, and the form they kind of been on. Did they? Oh yeah, they did lose. Liverpool did give them a loss. I mean, do I see Liverpool doing enough to catch up with Man United? Because let me put it this way, I think Man City, Man U, Liverpool are going to be in the top 4. And then it's who I consider would also be in the top 4. The fact that Arsenal, this may be controversial, I think may have strengthened themselves with the move on of Sanchez. Because I think Mkhitaryan could be a standout player in the Premier League. I think Aubameyang could be a standout player in the Premier League. And I think them together could be better than Sanchez on his own. Arsenal are the type of side to me that can mess it up, and so are Spurs. But there seems to be so much disharmony at Chelsea. And I know Spurs' running isn't too bad once they get past this tough run of fixtures. So what I would say is I think Man City, Man United, Liverpool will be potentially the top 3. Probably in that order. Maybe Liverpool catch up with Man U, but I don't think Man U will catch up with City. So I say City will win the league. Then it will be Man United, then Liverpool. Then I think Spurs, purely because I don't think there's much harmony at Chelsea right now between Conte and the board, and the players not always performing. I think Arsenal could get up there, but just generally they seem to have been bottle jobs recently in previous seasons, so I wouldn't put money on them. So I'd say Spurs get the 4th spot. So interesting to see, because I think on Zane Muller's channel I did do a prediction, so I should go back to that and see what I actually predicted. By the way, if you want to support the channel in any way, just quickly throwing it out there again, you can just put some earplugs in your ears if you're tired of hearing me say this, but you know, I'm still going to do it. If you do want to support the channel in any way, various links in the description, and you can of course become a sponsor of the stream. And as one of the loyal OGs, Thomas McCarthy, says, don't forget to like, share, and if you're new, subscribe. I have heard that apparently if you subscribe to my channel, it doesn't actually bring your name up anymore, but I tested it before the stream and it seemed to work. So I don't know why that is happening. So apologies if you do subscribe during the stream and it doesn't work. But that, I don't know why that is happening, so apologies. Which teams do you think... Oh, I've already... Jeremy T, new guy in the chat. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you in here. Enjoying it? I'm glad you're enjoying it. Hopefully you'll enjoy many, many more. Who shall I captain? De Bruyne home or Salah away? I'd go with Salah over De Bruyne, personally. So, although De Bruyne is a very good option, and I kind of wish I never got rid of him for Hazard, because it's kind of got... I got rid of him for Hazard, and then I got rid of Hazard for a cheaper option to try and get Aguero when I found out Jesus was injured, and never got the money for Aguero. And now I look at my team and I think, yes, Sterling and Salah are my main 2 midfielders, but at one point I had 3 main midfielders and Firmino and Kane. So kind of wish I never got rid of De Bruyne. Jeremy T, as you're new, you probably don't understand that I've been saying Decore would stop scoring for so long, and he just keeps popping up. He's the bane of my FPL season this year. I thought he was Etienne Capoue Mark II from last season. So I thought he had a great start, but I was like, it will stop. It will tail off. It will tail off. It's not tailed off yet. Like, he is the Aaron Ramsey, the Yaya Toure, the player that doesn't have the stats to suggest he will keep getting FPL points, but he keeps doing it. He's annoying me. So for that reason, Deulofeu. But logically, Doucouré's been proving himself this year. Florent Sandro trusts City to deliver. I think trusting City to deliver is always a decent thing. 100 rupees is just over £1. FPL Nim Freer. I don't think you work in a money exchange. If you do, hopefully you can get me a good rate for when I go on holiday. Whenever that will be. I've not gone on holiday for years. Lipin Prabhu, best defenders. I've been looking at Alfie Mawson and Nathan Ake for ages. I think for value and fixtures and potential form with additional points on top of a clean sheet, if they get them, those two are the ones that could score goals or get assists. Outside of that, if you're looking for premium price defenders, I think Alonso's always going to be a decent shout. But as far as actual defending statistics, Spurs have conceded the least amount of shots in the last 6 game weeks. Man City, then after them, Liverpool also doing very good. They've all conceded around the 50 mark, less. Liverpool slightly higher, 2 higher. Man City bang on 50 shots conceded, and Spurs conceded 43. As far as shots on target, Spurs have conceded 12 on target. Man United 16, Liverpool 18. So I'll be looking at the big boys out of Tottenham, Man United, City and Liverpool if you're going to go for expensive defenders. I wouldn't look at Arsenal. They've conceded way too many shots and too many shots on target. Same goes with Chelsea. So taking that into consideration, fullbacks are too risky at Spurs. So if you are going to go for a Spurs option, it would be a centre-back. If you're going to go for a Man United option, Phil Jones was or did seem to be the nailed-on one for a decent price. If you can afford Valencia or Young, they can always pop up with a goal or an assist. De Gea, of course, would have been a great option if you got him in at the beginning. I now think it's got to the point where he's too expensive. Liverpool, Van Dijk has had a goal threat for the majority of his time in the Premier League. So Van Dijk could be a good shout as a defender there. Karius has impressed me more and more the more game time he's got. I like Otamendi still, so I'm not thinking of taking him out of my defence from Manchester City. Mendy looked amazing for the small time he played. I would have really liked to have seen what Mendy could do if he had more game time this season, but he picked up an injury. Kyle Walker is a known entity, so he'd be decent. If you're looking for a cheaper option, the issue now is Stones was that cheap option, but with Laporte coming in, which one is Pep's favoured one? So that's why I'm sticking with Otamendi. Ayush Falur worked 20 hours a week as a digital creator in an advert firm. I edit photos and make small video clips and stuff. Pays pretty average, but it's good on my resume. Exactly. My biggest regret, and this is again going off topic, is not doing an apprenticeship and not pursuing. And I wouldn't say it's because I didn't think I could do it. I think I just didn't know what I wanted to do. But I've watched YouTube from maybe 2012, 2011 consistently. And at that point in my life, I could have probably pursued it more easily than I am now pursuing it. But there was also a time when I could have potentially considered doing it around 2008, 2009. If I had done it then, imagine the situation I could be in now. But it's not just that. I would have loved to have got involved in Fantasy Premier League and in football and pursued that as a ambition as well. Like, I stopped being decent at football around 16. I was a pretty good goalkeeper. I went abroad for games as representing my city or my town at the time. Did play for some schoolboy teams as well. So I was decent in goal as a football player until about 15, 16. I then turned to rugby, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. But what I did know is I didn't want your standard job. I sold stuff on eBay when I first came out of uni. I didn't want to do an office job. And then I had to get a job, so it turned out to be security. I turned out to be decent at it. And I do like crime and that. Like, I'm a big fan of BuzzFeed, the BuzzFeed Unsolved. Big fan of ID, which is a channel in England where you watch crime, real crime being solved and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, definitely do. Even if I could have done an apprenticeship when I was 21, 22, 23, wouldn't have been great pay, but because I was living with my parents at the time, it wouldn't have mattered. And yeah, I could have been doing something very different to what I'm doing right now, which involves chasing after people, sometimes getting into fights and not being allowed to punch people back and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, but I now know what I want to do, and I'm now pursuing it as much as I can. So you get there in the end. You get there in the end. Anyway, Florence Sandu, when are we going to find out which teams are blanking in Game Week 31? That will be the FA Cup weekend, which I believe is the 17th to the 19th. It may be the 16th to the 19th of February. So I'll run it down for you as much as I can with what I've prepared. Oh, I don't know when the FA Cup fixtures are. All I do know is the way this works completely is Man City and Brighton are both through to round 5. So the likelihood of Man City Brighton being a blank is high, because Man City have Wigan, Brighton have Coventry. If they both win or one of them wins, they aren't playing in Game Week 31. Burnley versus Chelsea. Burnley are out of the FA Cup. Chelsea are still in it. They need to beat Hull. Chelsea beating Hull could be very likely. So again, that fixture probably will blank. Tottenham, Newcastle. Newcastle are out, but Tottenham are playing Rochdale in the next round, so it's likely Spurs, Newcastle will be a blank. Arsenal are out of the FA Cup, but Leicester will be playing Sheffield United, I believe. Likely to beat Sheffield United, I'd imagine. So Leicester, Arsenal probably will be a blank. Man United, Huddersfield. So one of these teams will lose, ideally. They could get a replay. I don't know when the replay would be rescheduled. But Man United, we'd assume, are more likely to beat Huddersfield than the other way around. If Man United win, they will not be playing West Ham in Game Week 31, but Huddersfield would be playing Crystal Palace. Vice versa, if Huddersfield win, then Huddersfield Crystal Palace won't happen, but West Ham Man U would, which would be a big game because you could bring in some Man United players and hope they do well against West Ham. Swansea Southampton, both are through to round 5, so if either team wins, then that is a blank. Bournemouth, West Brom. Bournemouth, again, out of the FA Cup, but West Brom against Southampton. Now, that fixture goes either way. I'd imagine Southampton could beat West Brom. If they do, then Bournemouth, West Brom would be a fixture. But the thing is, Southampton could still blank, even though they lose in the FA Cup, because if Bournemouth win... No, if West Brom win, I'm confusing myself now. If Swansea win, then it doesn't matter if Southampton lose. They will be in a blank. So, yeah, I got there eventually. Can get complicated, but we will know more. We'll know everything for Game Week 31 after the 19th of February. Okay, my chat has dropped to the bottom, so just trying to find out where we are. Okay, there we go. Michael Foley, once I've used my free hit, should I use bench boost straight away? I'm not sure it will work like that because they're both chips. I'm not sure 100% what you're suggesting. If you're suggesting to use your free hit and then use your bench boost on the same game week, that wouldn't work. If you used your free hit and then you planned for the game week after using your free hit, you could potentially use your bench boost. But all your bench boost does is use the players on your bench, and it would use the players from your bench or your whole squad from the game week before you use the free hit for. So that doesn't scream to me a good strategy unless you planned it in advance. George Butler, follow Ben Krillin on Twitter for blank game week spreadsheet. Guess where I just got all of my information from, George. You know, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. Okay, Florence Sanders trying to give me an English lesson here. Well, not English lesson, but Milivojevic. That's great, but when I'm speaking quickly, I'm going to get that wrong. Yes, Falur, and that is why I haven't been able to watch a stream for a while. But look, I would much prefer you guys focus on your studies because that's going to affect you. It's going to affect your family. Than watch my stream. Now, if you are available, of course, I want you guys here because I can't do this without you guys. But there's more important stuff than FPL. Every now and again, I've taken a week off. I haven't done this season. This season, we're up to game week 27 and I've not taken a single game week off. However, that's just the way the world works. That's the way life is. Yeah, do what you need to do for yourself. Then, of course, if you're free, come join the stream, come join the flock, and we can discuss things. You should definitely use your bench boost in the double gap. That is general consensus. Last year, a lot of people used it and then got it wrong. And then kind of were like, well, there were game weeks when I could have used it and would have got higher scores because all of my players on my bench had a good fixture as well. I would still say, if you plan it right, the odds are in your favour. It could, of course, still go horribly wrong. But I still am of the mind that use your bench boost in the double game week. Lipin Prabhu, I have me, Smalling, Daniels and Davis as subs. Davis as sub. What do you think? If that's Ben Davies, I don't like him too much because I'm worried about rotation. But otherwise, I've got no issue with that defence. Has it actually taken me an hour to drink a beer? Jeremy T, speaking to Florian regarding Game 31, we should find out after the FA Cup games. Yep, pretty much saying what I said. Thank you for being a helpful and supportive member of the stream. I think we like you already, Jeremy T. I think we like you already. FIFA World Cup Fantasy this summer. I will be doing it. I will be doing videos for it. And otherwise, lip sealed. That may have been what I was considering and thinking about yesterday, just maybe. Jeremy T, no worry. I need to learn to not read comments between the two of you guys when you're just talking. Is Kenny nailed on? I would say no, he's not nailed on. The last information I had is he's still pretty highly thought of, but he has been rested twice and game at 25 and 22. I am thinking of getting rid, but I think if I do make a transfer, it will be on my midfield. JNO, could you help with some Mane stats? Looking at tripling up on Liverpool players for game week 31. Of course I can. Of course I can. So if we find Sadio Mane, there he is. That was quicker than usual. Okay, so in the last 6 game weeks, Sadio Mane, 2 goals, 2 assists, which is decent for 6 starts. He is at 9.3 million at the moment. He is involved in 40% of the goals when he is on the pitch. He has had 11 attempts on goal in 6 games. 8 of those have come from inside the box. Big chances in total, he's had 3. He's scored none of them though, which isn't a good conversion on big chances. His minutes per attempt, he gets an attempt roughly every half, 43.5 minutes per attempt. His shot accuracy is at 27.3. His goal conversion is at 18.2%. His through balls, he's had attempted 2 through balls, 9 chances created. He's created 2 big chances, both of which were converted. His minutes per chance created, however, is at 53 minutes. So he could go through games if he keeps it up with only 1 chance created per game. So Sadio Mane is a player that could explode out of nowhere. Those stats don't suggest it, but sometimes if your gut feeling is to take the risk for that game week, then potentially you should do so. I am quickly going to just tweet out the stream because we're going on for I have a feeling about today that we're going to keep this up for a while because the questions are flowing despite the fact that we have had more people in the stream before. But I'm having fun. You guys are having fun, so why not continue? Oh, Coutinho has scored. I could have made profit if I was on FIFA. But never mind. I'm not on FIFA. And I've made rupees. So, you know, I'm winning, basically. Apologies for this slight delay while I try and figure out how to tweet without going silent for too long. Because I have a habit of doing that. When my mind starts to think, Nymphria knows this when I've had conversations with her and we've been talking about YouTube stuff. When my mind starts to think, I get this look on my face and I just kind of go blank because I cannot multitask, that's the word. So yeah, we're not going to do anything crazy for this tweet, literally 2 hashtags and the link and we're done. Fantasway Premier League is in the chat. How you doing, my friend? Did I miss your question, Chaos? Apologies. First question. Well, I'm reading your whole statement now. So, I asked, do we use free hit chip in 31 or 35? I think I actually spoke about that before you joined. My suggestion is, if you can prepare yourself in advance for game week 31, then use it for game week 35. Now, depending on what happens with these FA Cup games, you may have to use it in game week 31. It may just make more sense. But if there's clearly players that have the right fixtures and are appearing in game week 31, I'd suggest bring them in now. And then you may find that you don't need to use it for game week 31. And then you can use it for game week 35. What may also happen is then you find out you don't need to use it for game week 35. And then you could completely attack game week 38. Or game week 37 if your team is pretty good for game week 38. And literally everyone by then has used a lot of their chips. You could have a massive rise in rank that final game week. So I am not going to use it game week 31 unless I have to. But that could happen. Because it depends. There could be a lot of blanks. There could be not many. FA Cup is a wonderful thing. You never know what's going to happen. So that is my look on the free hits chip, Chaos. Ayush Falur, were you not here that early? I did Tough Enough videos. When, who won it? I don't think either are still in the WWE. There was the Yeti. I forgot his name. And then there was a a country girl that... I don't know her name. But also in it was the Velveteen Dream, who now looks like a really good prospect. He was in that Tough Enough. Mandy Rose, who's been promoted to the roster. The martial arts chick with Mandy Rose. She was in Tough Enough as well. So yeah. Is Alonso fit for game week 27? If he is not, want to replace it with me. My goalie is Pope as well. Your thoughts? Dinesh, I've had me and Pope for the majority of the season, and they've both done very, very well for me. So there's nothing wrong with doubling up on Burnley. I really like Burnley's defence. Really, really like Burnley's defence. I wouldn't transfer Alonso out though, purely because monetary value wise, I don't know when you got him in. It may be harder to get him back into your side. If it's only one game week he's not playing for, I would keep Alonso in your side and just bench him. My favourite will always be the Southampton career mode on FIFA. The less we talk about my Southampton career mode on FIFA, the better. I have multiple times thought about doing FIFA again as well. But the game I play the most is Ultimate Team and Pro Clubs. And I play squad battles the most on Ultimate Team. I'm not sure that would be interesting. I do trade on Ultimate Team, but I'm not amazing at it, so I'm not sure how much fun that would be. And Pro Clubs, I have friends that maybe don't understand that you have to be nice, or at least try and be some sort of advertiser friendly on YouTube. So yeah. Sorry, I may have, because I talk about so many things and then change and change and change, I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about yesterday with the racially abused and then the disciplinary issues before this, despite being abused by Suarez, and then speaking about KSI is ripped. KSI is putting the work. So I'm actually, like, I'd lost respect for KSI because of his whole transforming thing. And then the clear abuse of pretending to have beef with the sidemen and the diss tracks. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the whole diss track thing. But it was just... Then to come out and just admit it was fake. Just at least... I don't know. Just... It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But he put in the work and he did a great job. At the end of the day, he won a boxing fight. And... But the thing is, if I had his time, I would quite happily fight anyone. As long as you gave me enough time to train and I had pretty much every day to train and stopped work. Because that's the one thing I would say is he didn't have to work. So he had all the time in the world to train. He had a personal chef, but never mind. Anyway, Jeff, nice to see you in the chat. Didn't sound as excited as I like to when I said that, so I'll say it again. Jeff, welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining the stream. You've been missing out on a pretty good and active stream. We've had some good conversations. We've gone off topic a couple of times. It took me an hour to get through one beer, so you know the stream is going really well when it's taken me an hour to get through one beer. And I made some rupees. Best forward to watch out this week. Are you looking for a differential for this week? Because if I was looking for a differential, I don't know if Jordan Ayew is still a differential. And Niasse, if he's going to start, Crystal Palace at home for Everton. There isn't loads of options that stand out to me. You've got the Stoke players that could turn up, but I think Shaqiri's the best bet to go with there. There's always a possibility that Andre Gray or Troy Deeney do something for Watford against West Ham. Chicharito against Watford at home could do something. Sturridge is clearly a decent striker when he stays fit. But, I mean, right now, to me, I'm very happy with Kane as my main striker. Not that he's been doing great during these tough fixtures, but it doesn't mean I've got to bring him back in somehow now that the fixtures will ease up after Game Week 27. We've got Firmino, who has been doing decent for me, and Callum Wilson looks like the best cheap option to me. Off the line says he thinks he can see Newcastle going down. To be honest, I look at their team and I don't look at it and think it's stronger than other teams in the league. Eddie Guna still in the cup. 50 points to 46, I believe it was. So yeah, we're still going strong in the cup. If I win the cup, it would be absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ayush Falur says, come to India on holiday. My wife's going to be giving birth next month, so Probably no holiday this year, but I will definitely consider it, my friend. Jeremy T, thanks for the same about Decore. Somehow can't bring myself to transfer him in. I know, I'm going to regret it, because if we actually look at Decore's points, this is where I might go on a bit of a rant. Decore, 109 points for 5.4 million. Now surpassed Richarlison at 6.2. Just 9 points, 11 points, 10 points. These are 2 game weeks between him getting point. Okay, that period there wasn't great, which kind of made me think, yes, I got it right. But then 7 points, then 7 points, 5, 9, 10. For his price, that is good return. But if I then look at his actual underlying stats, and if we look at his underlying stats, maybe I've just been ignoring him because I made the decision that he wasn't a good option, and I've just ignored him since. But if we have a look at Decore, last 6 game weeks, 1 goal, 2 assists. Goal involvement is at 38%. That is good for the price of 5.4 million. Goal attempts 13. I'm going to talk myself into bringing Decore in, looking at this. Goal attempts in box, only 5. So he's got 8 attempts from outside the box, but we've seen him score some screamers. Big chances. He has had 1 big chance in the last 6 game weeks. But his goal conversion, 7.7. But again, you're looking at his price tag. This is still good for his price tag. Chances created, 9. He's got 2 assists. None of those were big chances. But just, if I'd bought him in instead of Richarlison, I'd probably be in as good a position, and I'd have had more money to spend elsewhere. So, yeah. Just, I can't, it just doesn't feel like I should be bringing him in. Ayush, that's the problem. I look at Deulofeu and he looks like he's going to get more points. But I thought the same with Richarlison, and while he was ahead for most of the season, Decore's now scored more points. Shasane, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining the stream. Chat is popping off. Still got questions to go through. Shasane saying, great advice there, JNO, inspiring without even knowing. I don't even remember what advice I gave, but thank you. Much appreciated. Callum Davison, I posted my first ever YouTube vid tonight. It's a football freestyle. Like, comment and subscribe. Help me out because I'm only starting. I'll return. Thanks. You know what? A lot of people would be annoyed at you for doing that, but you know what? If you guys have some time when I stop the stream, why not? Go check him out. He may be the best freestyler, up-and-coming freestyler ever, so I've got no problem showing some support, so I will try and find you after this if I remember. There's no guarantee I will. Beno Shah, there's nothing more important than FPL. I may have lost a sub there, apologies. Sometimes I talk crazy. Plans for free hit and wildcard, Game Week 31, 35. My plan is to try and not use my free hit in Game Week 31. If that is the case, my wildcard will be used the week before a double game week. So there's scheduled to be a double game week in 34 and in 37. Now, depending on what my team looks like before game week 34, I may not use the wildcard then. Generally, I would use the wildcard in game week 33 and try and plan for both double game weeks. But if my team looks strong for a double game week for 34 without using the wild card, then I might try and save it for 37. A lot of this depends on if I've also used my free hit and if I think I'm going to have to use my free hit. If I don't think I'm going to have to use, if I can somehow plan the blank game weeks perfectly, then potentially I'll be looking at the wild card in game week 34 or game week 33 to use the bench boost in 34 and then use the free hit in 37 potentially. That's not guaranteed. What I don't like doing is I don't like planning and thinking I've got to follow it by the letter of the law, because I feel like you have to be flexible in FPL. You have to be ready to change your move. So that is potentially what I would do, but it could very, very easily change. I could literally look and decide to change it out of nowhere. So I say that now. Don't be offended or annoyed at me if I do something different. Off the line, I'm in China. China, we're going global. Telling you, we're everywhere. Nice to listen to football chat, whatever time of day. Always nice to listen to. As long as I'm not asleep, I want to hear football. Football in my ear. Just say Milo. Deal, Gordon, deal. Although, if you guys have noticed, if you watch my actual videos and not the streams, I've now put bloopers. And Milivojevic, you know the name, Milo, usually brings up some nice bloopers for me. Hussein Shoki has got Pope, Alonso, Robertson, Laporta. It's Laporte, I think, but never mind. Jones, Salah, Sterling, Özil, Martial, Aguero, Firmino. Are you any suggestions? Not sure on Laporte yet. I think Mkhitaryan may be a better option than Özil. Martial, I want to hope that Martial starts. So I wouldn't necessarily get Martial out right now, but he would be someone I'd be worried about being worthy of being in my team. JNO, do you think you can finish in the top 5k? I'd never say never, because if I think about it, 2.5 years ago, did I think I would have a channel where I would have almost 5,000 subscribers? I'd done YouTube from 2013 to 2015, not hitting 100. So anything is possible. If I was being realistic with you, my target is top 10k. If I hit top 5k, I'll be over the moon. You will see that all over my titles. Top 5k manager, everywhere. I'll put it in my Twitter bio. FPL in free, don't take the mick out of my serious face. Bino, Shah, Fabianski and Adrian in goal. They're decent goalkeeper choices. Kenny, Chilwell, Otamendi, Jones, Alonso. I'll be worried about Kenny, but otherwise... Salah, Sterling, De Bruyne, Shaqiri, Walcott, like the midfield. But that is why your strikers are weaker. De Poitre, I would swap for Ayew from Swansea, Jordan Ayew. But other than that, I like your team. What do you guys think to play triple captain Salah for Gameweek 31? Depending on the blanks, that could be a massive move. If he scores in a game week where people are going to struggle to get points if they've not planned ahead, you could rise up the rankings massively, Asad Chowdhury. Yash Falur, Velveteen Dream is amazing. You are 100% right. I would put money on it that when he gets called up to the WWE, like the main roster, they will ruin it. They will make it either too gold dusty, or they will just try and give him a new gimmick. They just need to let him come up and be this character and not change it. But with Vince McMahon potentially stepping down from a lot of his duties in WWE because of XFL, I have a little bit of hope. Exactly, Jeremy T. Don't make your mind up until you have seen where the blanks are. Chaos, I think you're on PS4, aren't you? I think we've had this discussion before. If you're on Xbox, happy to play Pro Clubs with you, mate. Yash Falur updated me on the winners are tough enough. Sonya Deville equals martial arts chick. Yeah, I don't always remember the people. Jan and Free are two of the top YouTubers in my opinion, wealth of knowledge and great people. Appreciate it, Shasane. Appreciate it. Patrick Ever kicking the fan. Yep. You saw it. Ish for Lurjan, I wouldn't be too happy with the rupees you made. Exchange rate means you only get £2. Hey, £2 is £2. And I will always say this. It's not about the amount. It's about the fact that you like what I do enough to support what I'm doing. Like, if you think about it, if every one of my subscriber gave me 1p, that would still be something like £43. So I'm hoping my maths is correct. I have been drinking and I haven't eaten dinner yet, so but I think my maths is correct. It's not about the amount that is given to me. Don't get me wrong, if someone went crazy and gave me 10 grand, I am probably going to faint or like just walk out of the room for a little bit and not believe it. But it's about the fact that someone like looks at my content, has watched my content for a while, and decides that even if it's the smallest amount, that they like my content enough to go give me 1p. 1p is still 1p. It's someone else's money that they've gone, yes, your content is good enough for me to do that little bit more extra. That's the way I see it. So, mate, I'm happy with any super chat because you are giving me what you can give me. That is it. I don't expect any more. I don't want any more. But it's the support. So it's the same as hitting that like button every single time you watch a video. It's the same as sharing my video on Twitter. It's the same as any other level of support. Just always turning up to the stream if you can. It's the same thing. You're showing support for the videos I make, so it's always appreciated. Yes, for Lure, Wimbledon, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been terrible. I've been a terrible fan this season because they were doing bad, and then I've got so wrapped up in the Premier League when I do have any time that I know we did start to do better. We were looking pretty bad at the beginning of the season, but we did start to do better. Let me just check, because now you've asked me, I'm annoyed at myself for not knowing. Because every other season I've known. But I think because I felt like we may get relegated at the beginning, I just stopped following because I didn't want to see it. Alright, so if I actually bring up the table, we're 19th, so we're still not doing that well. We're only like 2 spots above relegation zone. We did win 2 out of the last 5 though, and we're 2 points above the relegation zone. So yeah, the plus side to me is Milton Keynes are also doing pretty bad. They do have a game in hand though, which would put them 1 point behind us. But yeah, thanks for asking though. But yeah, I've been a terrible fan this season. How about a new channel, Fantasy Winter Olympics? I don't think that's going to happen. I know very little about the Winter Olympics. Who do I think will win PFA Player of the Year? I personally, if it was up to me, it would be Mohamed Salah, because it's his first season, and I give more credence to a player who does it in their first season at this level than after they've acclimatised. Don't get me wrong, KDB, if I was building a side, I think I'm more likely to be able to replace Salah with someone than I'd be able to find KDB to play that kind of role. I think KDB, you get certain players that are just going to be difficult to find someone on that level, and I think there are more players of Salah's ilk than there are of KDB's. Which footballers could play Winter Olympics? Jeff, like seriously, you need to start a YouTube channel and just like call it like the Pun Olympics or Pun something, because you're an absolute legend at puns. Keith Curling. Jeremy T getting involved. Ski Sung Hyung. Hussein Shorky, you're a global journal. I'm watching for Egypt. I've been to Egypt. Unfortunately, I went during a period of unrest, so the people we went, the travel operator we went with, wouldn't let us leave Sharm el Sheikh. But believe it or not, in Egypt, people thought I was Egyptian. There's so many people speaking to me in Egyptian, but my honeymoon was in Egypt, so there was plans to see like the pyramids and all that, but at the end of the day, we still had an amazing time. I really do want to go back to Egypt. I did love it out there, and yeah, I think there may be some pictures of me online with the Egyptian flag, saying like, because at the end of the day, where I was very, very safe, and a lot of the news outlets were trying to suggest that it wasn't. So considering the people that were looking after me on my honeymoon, their hotel was countries were calling their people back. Like, there's certain countries saying, if you're from our country and you're in Egypt, come back now. We'll give you the money back for your holiday. Like, England didn't do it, but just like the effect on the staff there, it was a bit bad, because like it was a hotel complex and they had 2 hotels. Like, literally, it was almost getting to the point where we would have got upgraded to the better hotel, because they just didn't have the amount of people that they would usually have that time of year, and that's people's livelihood there, so it was a bit bad. So I think there is a picture of me somewhere in Egypt with an Egyptian flag saying I'm safe and having fun in Egypt, but I haven't looked for it. I didn't look for it when I came back. But never mind. I'm again going off on one. Bombay for me. Oh wow, Jeff Holt. I think you may have met your match. We need like a pun battle. Exactly, Benoit. When this FA Cup next round is over, we'll have a better idea. Oh, yes, for Lure with another donation to the chat. Can we get some hearts, get some birds in the chat? Let's just spam the chat with some love for Ayush Falur again. Much appreciate the support, my friend. Like, don't do it too often, because I'm going to get used to it, and then you won't get as good a reaction from me, just saying. But like, thank you so much for the support. Ayush, I'm interested in what you thought of what is his name? The Maharaja? What was his actual wrestling name? Being WWE champion, because it was clearly, to me, it was clearly a ploy to break into that market, and I didn't think he was ready to be WWE champion. I'm much happier with AJ Styles, but I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Ayush Falur, you should try it for XFL, JNO. I mean, it's similar to, I suppose, because I've played rugby, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch. I'm used to, like, guys bigger than me tackle. Believe it or not, I was a back. If you know about rugby, the backs are the smaller guys that are fast. I know I'm not a small guy, but I was fast. And that's kind of why the security job works for me, because I can catch people as long as they're not younger than me. But yeah, so, I don't know. I would love to do something with WWE, even if it is XFL. I know more about the Summer Olympics. Believe it or not, I used to be a sprinter. Going back to the rugby subject, used to be a 200-metre runner. Was the fastest in my region, and did run for some small athletic clubs. But yeah, at the age of 12, 13, I was the fastest in southwest London. So, you know. Important to keep hydrated and drink water. Ah, everyone's getting involved with the puns. George Butler, you're definitely right. If I really don't think I need to make the transfer, I'm just kind of tired of Richarlison. He's really not done it for me. Or Dele Alli in the diving. That's not a pun, but it's just funny. We can play on Chaos. Unfortunately, I don't think I generally have the kind of games that a lot of people play on Steam. Just in case. The games I have on Steam, I'm just going to bring it up on my laptop. So in case any of you play these games, some of them aren't installed because they take up a lot of space, and I have a lot of space taken up with YouTube stuff. But I have every Football Manager since 2010. Crusader Kings, but I played the Game of Thrones version of it. There's like a mod, that's the word, mod, Game of Thrones mod. So, Crusader Kings 2. I have Ark Survival, but I've never really played it properly on my laptop. Golf with Friends I've got Infinite Mini Golf. Don't think Infinite Mini Golf works that well. I've got Shell Shock Live, but again, Shell Shock Live doesn't work that well. I have Civilization 5, and I have YouTuber's Life. So those are the games that are on my Steam. Unfortunately, because I try and do YouTube, I don't actually get to play as much as I'd like. So, but if any of you guys have that game, on Steam, if you want to add me as a friend, I am down as JNOFM. So yeah, look me up if you're on Steam. Rudy Volleyball. There we go, Jeff. You're trying to claim your crown back, aren't you? Yesh Falur. JNO, will you be open for an online career mode on FM with some subs? I really want to play an online career mode with some of the guys here. That would be something we could really do on the other channel. That could be fun. So I would be open to it. Yeah, definitely. I feel like it would have to be something I do live, though, because I feel like if we didn't... Because the problem with career mode online on FM was I tried to do it, and Ayush, you probably remember this, when I did it with Dave Azzopardi and Kurtjoy, it's just getting a time when everyone was available to do it. And like, I don't know people's availability, and if I started it with one person or 2 or 3 people, and then one of them isn't available, we can't do it that day. So then we got to wait until all 3 or 4 of us are available. So I would definitely be up to, though, just playing, like, if you get, I don't know if FM18 it's separate, but if you get the touch, you can just play each other's teams against each other. So that could be a thing we could do. Dele Alli auditions for Madrid move every game by diving. Jeremy T. Oh, no, I like that. I know Jeff is saying you're stretching it a bit, but Gerudo. As a mixed martial arts fan, I appreciate that one. Shane Longjump. Oh, wow. TP is back in the chat. Can we get some birds in the chat? Yeah, hearts are for the donations and subscriptions and stuff. No, hearts are for the donations and live chats and sponsorships. But can we get some birds in the chat for TP in the chat? Late, but you made a big entrance, mate. You made a big entrance. And I've also drunk 1.5 beers without eating dinner, so getting a bit happier now. Not going to lie to you, I almost didn't do this stream. I just wasn't feeling it, but I thought, you know what, I owe you guys because I haven't done one this week, and it's been too long. But I'm glad I did it now. Yushfullah, Egyptian King is Mo Salah. Definitely. Definitely. I knew about Mo Salah a lot because of Football Manager, but like, I was disappointed when he went to Chelsea and didn't really do much. Did decent when he played, but by the way, if you didn't know, in TP, you can put it in the chat. TP does run a Instagram page about football. So go and, is it follow on Instagram or whatever it is on Instagram? Go and check it out. Jinder Mahal. How did I forget that name? How did I forget that name? I agree, Yush. What I wouldn't have minded is if they had built him up and then given him the title, but they just gave him the title out of nowhere. It was just so forced. Did I just see, may I call you Usain Bolt? Because I'm Insane Holt. Oh, okay. It took me a second to get there. But no, you can't call me Usain Bolt. Looking forward to the Winter Olympics. I'm not a Winter Olympics fan. I'm a Summer Olympics fan. Jeff, wow, this stream. This may not have the numbers, the watching now numbers, but this stream, I've been making rupees, I've been making pounds. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you, Jeff. I believe this is your second super chat, isn't it? Or your second donation. So thank you so much, Jeff. Your support has been absolutely epic. And may offend other people by saying this, but you have been one of the funniest members of the stream. So, and what you drinking, Jeff? Seeing as you came so late, I don't know what you're drinking. But thank you guys so much. I hope you ask Maria. I hope you're just not giving your money away without consulting Maria about it. But otherwise, thank you so much for the donation. Yush, to be honest, I respect Indian more for that because, look, when Michael Bisping won the UFC title, I was like, yes, finally. But did I think he was going to keep it for long? No. Where it's a story-based thing, but you still kind of have to look at performance. Don't force someone down our throat because they are from where we are from. If they're good, then yeah, go for it. That's why British Bulldog kind of worked with us, but it's never going to really take off if the person isn't good, no matter where they're from. Doesn't really matter, does it? Have you ever noticed when I drink my beer, for some reason that finger is often pointed upwards? I don't know why. TP Football Answers, my team, De Gea, Pope, good goalkeepers. Me, Monreal, Mbemba. Mbemba's still there. I would still get rid of Mbemba. Actually, he could be playing now. I've really not paid attention to Mbemba. I do like Monreal. The amount of times I consider bringing Monreal is crazy. Otamendi, of course. Me and you have been behind Otamendi. We've enjoyed the highs and the lows of Otamendi's. Otamendi. You can tell the beer's starting to take effect now. Daniel, Salah, Lingard, Sterling, Grosh, Moy, De Poitre, Kane, Firmino. Opinions. Lingard, I'm worried, isn't going to keep up the reason why we brought him in. I have a feeling, and basically the way the surgery guys put it when I was on their podcast, the trapdoor may fall out of him. Sometimes you get a player who has a really good period, but now with Sanchez coming in as well, Lingard's a bit of a worry. Grosh and Moy, I would definitely still be interested in Grosh. I just feel like he's that kind of player that could always have a good game week. As far as Moy is concerned, Huddersfield don't fill me with confidence. So I feel like you got too much Huddersfield coverage there. I think De Poitre should go and maybe keep Moy. As far as your other strikers, Kane, Firmino, same ones I have. So I think you should definitely consider keeping them. Chaos. I'm a massive Walking Dead. Telltale Games. I love a game with a good story. That's why I like BioWare as well. If the game has a good story and it feels like I'm kind of controlling someone, but also being involved in a world, a movie, like I don't want just to shoot people. I don't want to just. The only games I just want to play, probably without any story, is like FIFA or golf, a sport. I don't need a story for a sport, although I love the journey. Don't get me wrong. Add a story to a sport, I'm sold. But if it's not a sport, I kind of want a story. So most of the games I have some sort of story aspect to them. I do read as well, believe it or not. I know I can't say words, but I can read words fine. TP, what I will say, just about your comment to Ayush, you will find times when you lose followers. It's usually when Instagram, YouTube start taking inactive people off the website. It happens sometimes. Just keep going. You will get back to a point where you keep growing again. So, Tiger Rage, nice to see you in the chat. I'm starting to get congested now. I think it's something to do with all the heat, because this happened at the old place, happened at the new place. The windows are open, but I seem to get congested a lot when streaming. I have to look into that. It might be something to do with me drinking, potentially, but I'm not staying hydrated. Although I do have water, so I could drink some of that. But sorry, going off on a tangent again. I wouldn't get rid of Firmino. I wouldn't get rid of Shaqiri. Dunk, potentially. Lingard, yes. If that's Jordan Ayew, that could work. Walcott could work. Martial, I'd still be worried about with the Sanchez transfer. Maguire is a good option, but I don't think he's I don't think he's as good as a lot of people are making out. But I can be wrong, so you know. Jamal Rice is in the chat. Jamal, you're a bit late, but thank you for joining. See, I didn't see the actual super chat until just now, or the donation message. So you did ask Maria, so that's good. Which means my whole joke about checking with Maria is just, it fell on it there. Whatever. Mate, I'm gonna be loaded. You guys don't spoil me too much, because I may not stream again, because I'll just be like, I'm loaded now. I don't need to go on stream for the next couple of weeks, because I think this stream I've made more than any other stream. So have you noticed how I've not left? I'm joking. The reason I've not left is because, as you know, I've not read every comment yet, and I don't leave until I've finished the whole chat. Although every now and again I do worry when I'm like 3 hours in. I'm like, I still not reached the bottom of the chat yet. And I'm actually going to run out of alcohol as well, because we've not had, I don't think we've had a 2-hour stream in a while, so you know. Anyway, get back to you're going to always fall behind chat, JNO, if you don't keep just going through it. Okay, just quickly checking the requests. Some people have added me on Steam. If you want to add me on Steam, my name is JNOFM. And I'm not going to lie, I don't actually use Steam that much, so I have no idea. Friends, there we go. View friends list. Where do I see? Okay, so we've got Ayush, accept. We've got Chaos, accept. And we've got Craig, accept. So we're making friends on Steam. Not that I play online that often. If you guys get the golf game, I'm happy to play golf. I think the games I play online, I would play Crusader Kings with anyone, to be fair. Football Manager, of course, we can look into. Golf with Friends, I'd have to install it again. But Shell Shock, I love Shell Shock, but it just doesn't work on my computer, which is annoying. And then Walking Dead isn't really a game you can play with people, but Walking Dead is amazing. I usually play Walking Dead on my Xbox, though, to be fair. Well, you know, I'm happy there is a woman somewhere that enjoys my ramblings, because I struggle to find them in the area I live in, Jeff. George Butler, I used to. I've got very bad, because unfortunately the thing is, the game week usually starts on Saturday, and it usually starts at 12:30 in the morning. I wake up. My main concern is if I haven't made my transfer, I make my transfer. My new job, the office is terrible for signal, and I would be doing it on my phone usually. I do need to tweet my team out. I apologise for that. That's something I need to get on top of. I will try and get back into the habit of doing it, but I have been pretty bad recently. Ayush Falur drinking a mocha. I'm not a mocha man. If I'm having anything with coffee in it, I need to taste the coffee. I need the coffee to like punch me in the face. Like I don't put milk in my coffee. Like I get a just plain black Americano. I need to taste the coffee. Every now and again I get a fancy coffee if I'm in Starbucks or something. But TP watched Hereford last weekend. The flare got thrown onto the pitch by a Hereford fan. Probably playing them through it at us. It hit me. I made a sort of dance about it. The player got sent. The player should have got sent off anyway. Like, at the end of the day, it's not good that a flare was thrown onto the pitch. But you, as a player, as a football player, you don't throw the flare back. Maybe I understand getting annoyed about it. I understand, like, just getting really angry. But don't throw a flare back into a crowd. Because you have no idea who you're going to hit. What if there was a kid there or a pregnant lady and you hit the pregnant lady? Like, shocking. Fingers pointed while drinking shows good breeding and class. I'm not 100% sure about that, but thank you so much for that comment. Anyway, why didn't you tweet? Oh no, I've read that already. I've completely lost my track in the chat. There we go. Gordon Gilbody, just thought you was in that film, The Full Monty, the security guard. I love that bit when he was rapping clean film. You know, well, that sounds like something that I might have done, Gordon, to be fair. But Mars bar wouldn't have been the chocolate of my choice. It would have been a Snickers, because I'm a bit nutty. Dom J in the chat. How you doing, Dom? Fever Pitch, I think I've seen. Field of Dreams, no. But to be honest, my memory is terrible. My memory is horrible. Like, I can watch a film and then completely forget it and enjoy it all over again, which is a good thing. Chaos, I've accepted it now. I hadn't accepted it because I'd closed Steam, but I've accepted it now. Really? JNO's getting hot. I don't know how to react to that. I am worried about what I'm going to do for alcohol. If the stream goes on, I'm running out. I have got a bottle of... you know what? I may open it because this is a special occasion. How many super chats and donations have I received on this stream? I may go open a bottle of champs. It's the cheaper version though. It's that Italian sparkling stuff. Prosecco. There we go. I remembered it eventually. Yeah, TP, what you'll find is there'll be periods where your growth is crazy and then it will stop and it sucks. Trust me. I often get crazy growth in pre-season and the beginning of a season, and then if you've been checking my subscription base, I have not grown in all of January. I've stayed around 4,350. Meanwhile, you'll see other people, you're like, how are they growing so much? A lot of times it's because you got discovered during the peak period, probably because you were putting the work in, and then these people are still watching you, but then because they're watching you, every social media platform will start like suggesting people according to who you've already been looking at. So you'll see people really grow massively when you're not. And often that's because they didn't put the work in when you were really getting them during peak period. So, yeah, it happens, unfortunately. I will get more subscribers in a 1 to 2 month period than I will for the rest of the year. And sometimes I'm literally looking at it and watching other people. Like, you know the guy I don't like. I'm watching him, he's still getting people. And I think it's because he spams it so much. He's getting all the people off of me, off of FPL Tips, off of Let's Talk FPL, off of everyone. So you will get times where you're a bit like, ah. But keep pushing, man. Keep pushing, because you will get periods again where it just is fantastic. And like this is a stream on Game Week 27 in February. I had no high hopes of this, and the support that has been shown in this stream has been crazy. So, and I've had streams with like 4 times more people in it. And this one has just been like, bang, here you go. So thank you guys again so much for the support. It's always appreciated. And yeah, just wow. Anyway, before I get all emotional and just start thanking you all for like 2 hours, back to normal stuff. Guys, can we have some hearts and birds for Jamal? He's ranked 6 overall. 6 overall in the world. You still that high, Jamal? Literally, Jamal, start a channel, Jamal. Like, if you get me your address somehow, if I've got anything that I don't use anymore that can help you start a channel, like, you're destroying it in FPL. I think you'd probably get all of my subscribers straight away. I'd be watching your channel and then just ripping off your ideas. I'm joking. I don't rip off ideas. I think that's been made very clear a lot of times that I blaze my own path. That felt a bit too Logan Paul-y, like, nah, never mind. Anyway. Don't talk about pub crawls. I haven't done one of them in ages. The thing is, Ayush, they'll promote me more if you all watch the adverts. That's how I get or the watch time. Watch time, the amount of adverts watched, that kind of thing. That's when YouTube go, yes, this guy. You guys donated me money. YouTube probably don't make much of that. They don't get much of that. So, which is good for me because, you know what? YouTube take enough of what I do for them anyway. So, you know. Although this video may get struck down now because the amount of times my videos get... Apparently my videos aren't suitable for advertising. I talk about football. Like, how are my videos not suitable for advertising? The amount of times I'll upload a video, 20 minutes later, your video's not suitable for advertising. If I don't keep an eye on it, I sometimes notice the next day, and I'm like, great, 500 people have watched it, and I wasn't getting the advertising because YouTube decide that talking about football is bad, but things other people have done isn't so bad. No worries, Benoy. People can be in the stream when you can. Everyone has a life. Everyone's got to do stuff. That's why, like, whilst I don't like doing it, if I need to cancel a stream, I will. I do want to do as many as I possibly can. And when I say I'm going to do it, I have every intention of doing it. But sometimes life gets in the way. Keep De Bruyne or go Firmino. Different positions, Benoy. So, if you could have both, I would take both. I like both as options. I would go Firmino before De Bruyne, but I think very different situations there. Yes, Jeff, you're right. If I start talking to myself or going on a rant, I do get behind. But that's the thing. If you guys ask me the right questions and you get me all, like, invested, I often won't keep up with the chat, will I? My interest in Steam has evaporated, I'm afraid. I have a feeling, and you can tell me if I'm completely wrong here, Jeff. You may irritate your wife quite often because I have a feeling that we get a joke in our head and we may not always know when to stop pushing that joke, but I love it because I'm that way anyway. So you can let me know if I'm completely off the mark here, but I often annoy Mrs. J&O by getting a joke in my head and then I don't let it go. FPL Nimfria, you just have to ask. Guys, if you've not subscribed to FPL Nimfria, then I expect more of you guys. Go and subscribe to her now. Take a break from me. Take a break of this beautiful face. Go type in FPL Nimfria. Go subscribe to her channel. YouTube have like messed her over by giving her a target to get monetized, and then they raised the target after she reached it. So all the support you can give to FPL Nymphrhea, if you're a part of the flock goes and supports Nymphrhea. So go and show her some love, go subscribe, because YouTube aren't always the nicest people to us small guys. Yes, I would suggest if I could commit to Football Manager Online, it would be Friday, Saturday, because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm usually doing FPL stuff. So definitely could consider committing to it Friday, Saturday. Like, sometimes I get all the FPL stuff out. I get it, like, an FPL video done Sunday, I get it done Monday, I get the streams done Monday and Tuesday, and then I have got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm free. But a lot of the time, the days when the game week is on, and there's not enough for me to make videos on, then those are usually the days that would be best for me to even, like, consider doing that. That's a good point, actually. TP, I hope you're alright. Like, I've never been hit with a flare. I've been hit with a lot of stuff, but I just still can't believe a player would show that much disrespect. Not disrespect. The word would be, I don't know, lack of care or something like that. You don't throw a flare into a crowd. That's just stupid. Even a fan throwing a flare onto a pitch is a lot better than a player throwing a flare into a crowd, because a crowd is a mass of people. You don't know who you're going to hit. There's a lot of people around. You could hit more than one person, and the reaction you get from doing that could cause injuries anyway when people dive out of the way and hit someone else. Voice went. Throwing it onto a pitch, whilst yes, it will still hurt someone, unless you've got all the players arguing with the ref or in a fight, you've not got that same situation where you've got people just in mass around each other. But anyway. So I'm now in this situation where I'm like, do I go get another drink, but I may fall behind on the chat? Because I've just noticed that, like, I'm not catching up with the bottom of the chat as quickly as I imagined I was. So if I go get another drink, I may be even further behind. But if I've got to be here for a while, might as well enjoy myself. But then again, if I ask you what you guys think, I'm not going to read that until another 20 minutes, so. Bloke who threw it should be banned for us. It shouldn't be like a small ban. It should be a really big ban. So you're right, TP. You know what? Let's see how much. And bear in mind, she's pregnant and she has every right to say I'm not moving off the couch. But let's see if I can get, because it's a special occasion, see if I can get her to bring a bottle of Prosecco. Not the bottle. I don't need the whole bottle because that might be a bit much. I do have work tomorrow. I've got a review tomorrow with my boss. So yeah, I definitely can't drink the whole bottle. Actually, I probably could. Because if there's one thing I can do, I can talk a lot of nonsense and make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. Hey, you're all subscribed to me, and I'm joking. Anyway, let's actually keep up with the chat, because like, I'm thinking about keeping up with the chat, and I haven't done it anyway. I'd said 10 times for you. Mate, I wish people could sub more than once. If people could sub more than once, you guys would have me sorted. Jeremy T, definitely check out Nymphrhea. Definitely. But you know me, I'd say right now, the people to look at, Jeremy T, if you've not, there are the big guys. FPL Tips is the big guy with the best graphics. FPL TV is the guy with the best graphics that isn't like the biggest on the scene. So I'd definitely say check out FPL TV, Jeremy T. Then I'm always going to shout out Kurt Yoy, because when I started, Kurtjoy was one of the big guys that I was looking at, and he invited me onto his show. He worked with me, and he didn't have to, so I'd always say check out Kurtjoy. Kurtjoy spelled Kurtyoy, but I'm sure someone can put his thing in the chat. Other than that, let's talk FPL. Andy, it's a decent stream. You won't get as much interaction with him as you'd get with me, because he has so many people in his chat that, to be honest, he can't really do it. But there's Fantasy Football Scout stream. Again, you're not going to get the interaction though. There's FPL Boss. His streams are good, and you get the interaction there. It's simply FPL and then Boss. And then you've got Zane Muller as well, and then of course you've got FPL Nimfria. You've got Fantasy Premier League, often in our stream, does some decent videos. I apologise if there's anyone I've forgotten, but I have drunk 2 beers without eating dinner, and I'm about to ask for a glass of Prosecco. So, you know, like, I can't be held responsible for my forgetfulness. Now, if she brings it in really quickly, that means she may be watching me. So, even more hearts for Mrs. J&O if that's the case. Lewis Ferrell. Should the whole flock tweet at Lewis Ferrell? You know what? I'm going to do it. In fact, I'll do it so you guys can see it as well. Because how dare you throw a flare at a member of the flock? He may not even have a Twitter though, to be fair. I mean, I'd have deleted my Twitter if I was him. By the way, there's Kurtjoy, right at the top there. I'm not going to find him, am I? Because it's not like he's famous or anything. If I ever figure out what his Twitter handle is, don't worry, I've got your back. I've got your back, TP. How dare he? Yash Fuller, Satan Free has amazing podcasts and J&O amazing streams. Don't really follow anyone else, to be honest. There's good people out there though, but you know, I can't question your taste, because I think your taste is quite good. I think those are 2 good people to watch. Oh, yes, you know, I now feel bad. I don't want to keep you up too late. Oh, 11 AM. You're alright. You can get, as long as you're close to your uni, you can get 6 hours in. Jeff, if you can tweet that to me, that'd be great. Because I'm not going to lie, when we finish this, I'm probably just going to get into bed and watch some Dragon Ball Super. But that's showing how much of a nerd I am. But run out of dubbed episodes though, so I'm having to watch it in Japanese, and their voices sound so different. Goku sounds really childish in Japanese, but never mind. To be honest, I have had some fight experience before. It's not boxing, but it would involve boxing. So I would fancy my chances against anyone that hadn't had any. I very much doubt that... I mean, this guy could be huge and have boxing experience. I doubt, though, that he is. But, you know, I would fight. If he wants to fight in a boxing match, as long as I got to see him first. Just, I have to be careful. If you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. Exactly. Exactly. The problem is, I like alcohol and food and stuff. So, you know, I'm not necessarily the most... the wife's not keen on opening Prosecco. Okay, I'm just going to say I got I got a few donations. But I don't think I've got anything else to drink. I may have to quickly pop out. I'm actually not that far behind the stream, so I suppose she's got a point. But, you know, I've had 2, so I'm now like, yeah, why not? Yeah, seriously, flares must be banned from all football games. Who wears flared jeans nowadays? I got a lot of stick at work because my previous job, not the current one, because I don't have to wear proper trousers. They bought me trousers that were so short and so big that I looked like I was wearing flares. Anyway, I would strongly suggest everyone goes and follows at FPL Jamal, because yeah, he's destroying the ranking system right now. If you drink beer on stream, then you won't. Good one, Ayush. What's my rank? From Andrew Marr 522. My rank right now is 41,877. So in the top 1%. As long as you're in the top 57 odd thousand, you're in the top 1%. So I'm hoping to stay there because I've been top 1% for the last couple of years. So that's the least I expect of myself. Jamal, I would happily interview you and talk about your season. I think that would be some pretty good content. Even if you don't win, we can still push it. Guy that finishes 10th. Like, I'll be happy to interview Jamal. I remember when we had issues over the Liverpool defence. I was saying they were rubbish. You were saying they weren't. And, I mean, it looks like you were clearly right because you're doing better than me. Oh, that is confidence as well. Like, I will win, so I will do an interview. I'll start prepping now. Do I need any of Alonso, Otto or Jones in Game Week 28, 29? Think I can find cheap defenders and upgrade to better midfielders. Dom J, I would be wary of Otamendi because there's a possibility he blanks in Game Week 28. You don't have to have them. If you can play the fixtures right, you could get away with not having them, but I'd have at least one premium price defender, and I generally like to have 2. Jeff Holt, every time my wife, my workmates found, yeah, sound like we're in the same boat, mate. How to get JNO to make the stream last longer? Tell me in these 2,000 words what you think of Fantasy Premier League tips. I can start right now, mate. Let's get into this. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that. But, yeah, I've made it very clear that I'm not a fan of his at all. Jeff Holt, last week I had a Jehovah's Witness tell me they really had to leave. Wow. I think that's next level, mate. Next level. Wow, the chat. I really thought I was catching up. I really haven't. Last week, I've read that already. TP, Jeff, you went and... He's really funny to us, but we obviously have a similar sense of humour. To women and workmates and, like, family, I can imagine. Yush, I would say to you right now that I can't see myself venturing into Facebook time-wise and everything. I really don't think it's something I can stretch to just yet. Like, I mean, if you look at my JNO Facebook page, it's really not that active. I gathered up £1 worth of 2p coins as a young lad in second division game in the early 80s. Away fans hurling coins at us, different times. Yeah, but if you can make profit, like a flare you can't profit on. But Dom, you can profit off of like 2p coins. Not that it's good, of course, but you know. The Chrissy, very possibly. Richarlison's likely to go out for Theo or Delafeu. So, you know. Jeff, you're a bad influence telling me to drink. Yep. Do you want me to go off stream? Yeah. There you go, some hearts in the chat for Mrs. JNO, please. Because she caved in eventually and brought me another drink, so, you know, we can carry on going. Jeff, you should be happy. Just watching myself get up now. Could have put some... If I'd known I was going to have to stand up, I'd have put some better jeans on. Or some better trousers on. TP, you were a hero. Let's put this in perspective. You realise there was an 80-year-old man near you and a 7-year-old boy, and you took the flare for them, didn't you? That's what I call a hero, my friend. Yeah, I'm sorry. If one fan does something, you can't blame a whole group of people for one man's actions. That's just crazy. God, we got some lower league people in here. If I'd been streaming like 9 odd years ago, we could get really involved in some talk. But yeah, I've been very fortunate that, and a lot of it is to probably do with the fact that there is enough support in my area for a League 2 team. But AFC Wimbledon have had a crazy rise. Would you ever switch Sterling to Bernardo Silva to get more funds? No. Right now, the only person I would probably consider swapping Sterling for in my midfield would be De Bruyne. Maybe Sane if he went on a good run. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been infuriated with Raheem Sterling because there's been a few occasions where he should have scored. Like, I could have scored it and he's messed up. So, I'm not over the moon with Sterling. He's not in my good books as much as, say, Salah is, but Sterling has been, for the majority of the season, very, very good. Yeah, mate, go around, just check everyone. I will say, for me, I think a lot of what makes my streams is the guys in the stream as well. Like, some of these guys are here for as many of them as possible, and I see a lot of chat amongst the guys in the chat that isn't even necessarily involving me. So that's the one thing I've seen compared to other people's chats I've been in. I think there's, and this is maybe me blowing my own horn a little bit, but I think there's a community in the chat, and I could sit here and like talk like Scout do, and then you guys could still have your own banter and everything there as well. So that is the one thing I would really like promote for my streamers. I think there's a real community there, whereas I've been in other chats and I've just been like, it's just people either really focus on what's being said, or like, this is just a chilled out talk about FPL. We do bounce ideas off each other though. Nah, TP, that's shocking. Like, fair enough, punishing Hereford, but the player needs to be punished as well. My rank is 41,877th. It should be on the screen right now. Ayush Falur, I watched Dragon Ball Z Super, yes. Is that his actual Twitter? Let's see if we can... He shouldn't have messed with the flock. Is it this one or that one? I'm assuming it's this one. Well, no idea. I feel bad now because I have no idea if this is the right person, so I'm going to stop. I'll do it separately. If I could find the player straight away. But I kind of feel bad now because I have no idea who that was. If you get the right angle, if Flair can make profit, it could go through the roof. That's quite funny. That is very, very funny. Oh, she does. She does. She puts up with a lot. Trust me. You guys only have to deal with me for like an hour or two. She puts up with me every day. Ayush Falur, don't worry, Stone will never be in my good books. That's Snake. Nice, Jeff. I'll check it when I get off the stream. TP, I'm not out the cup. If you're talking about FPL Cup, I'm still in it somehow. TP, if I get to the point where I could, or I got a job where I could, like, and I was getting enough money and I could just go to games every weekend, I would ground hop. I think it would be class. Jeremy T needs to head off. Thank you so much for joining the stream, my friend. Pleasure having you on for the first time. So thank you so much for joining the stream. Hopefully see you here plenty of more times. You can become part of the flock. And yeah, hope everything goes cool at the train station, because trains in London are rubbish. Was it the right guy? I'm glad it's the right guy. I will. You can. Well, you'll see my tweets anyway, hopefully. Yeah, I'll send him a message as well. But I don't... Part of me is like, even if he's done something that bad, should I really have his Twitter on my stream? Not saying I'm some... Not saying he'd get the same hate that if KSI did it, but I'm just saying it feels bad to send hate someone's way. So... kind of having a little bit of regrets about bringing his Twitter up. I thought I'd just see him in a football kit and like, but when I saw him like, I'm assuming that was with his mates or something, or maybe at a wedding he was in a suit. Kind of like, didn't really want to bring that up, but never mind. Hereford fans are apologising. Yes, I think it's more people are apologising for that one person. I don't think they're all apologising. Ayush Valur heading to bed. Thank you so much. 1 for the donations and 2 for being part of the stream, Ayush. And I'm going to do the same now because I've finally caught up with the chat. So thank you guys so much for this incredible stream. We may not have hit the big viewing numbers that we have hit before, but this has been a great stream back in the new surroundings. So 2 hours 30 minutes. Great stream, guys. Absolutely fantastic stream. It's now 11 o'clock, so I should consider going to bed. But you guys have been absolutely amazing today. So thank you guys so much for being part of the flock. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the videos, on the stream. Wow, I've just seen a play ad button. I didn't realise I could play ads. So I could actually, if I did need to leave the room, I could play an ad. Never mind. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. It is time for me to go. Time for me to drink some more Prosecco because I've literally just opened a bottle. And the wife was like, are we opening a bottle for, like, because she can't drink, of course, because she's pregnant. So I should drink some more of it and then drink some tomorrow. But now I'm just talking to you about trying to not waste Prosecco. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Make sure to go and tweet this guy that threw a flare at TP. That's not acceptable by our books. I've been JNO. You guys have been awesome. And remember, just had to stop myself from burping. But it's all about the game. Mouse is here.